Hello, hello. It is my last day of research today, or it was my last day of research, my last day at the post office, my last day of my summer project. I'm still here all day tomorrow, and then Sunday I get to go home, and I'm so excited. I am just hanging out this evening, but today we went to our final little lab lunch. We went to a pho place, which was really delicious. It's kind of new. It opened like a month or so ago. Very good. It was pretty empty, so I'm hoping that they're getting enough business to stay in business because it was good food. I liked it. I enjoyed my lunch, and last chance to hang out with my research team for the summer. So that was really nice. As a good last hurrah. And then went to work for the last day of the summer at the post office. And then came back here. And yep, that's it. It's like my summer's over, even though, I still have 3 weeks before classes start, but it's like that was it. This is the end. So, very happy right now. I'm gonna sleep in tomorrow and pack tomorrow morning. Maybe do a load of laundry. I haven't decided yet. I have to go get quarters if I want to go do laundry, so that might be a lot of work, but regardless, gonna pack up my stuff tomorrow and everything that I need for, home before I come back here. So I'll leave everything that I don't, absolutely need. I'll leave it here. And then if I do absolutely need stuff, it will come home with me. So it's very exciting. And yeah. I've made a lot of progress on my writing project of the story that I talked about sort of semi towards the beginning of the summer. I've finally, after 3 years of working on this project, finished chapter 2. Done with the second chapter! Woohoo! And I'm knee deep in chapter 3, so that's going well. But yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine and I was telling him about it, and he said, well, J.K. Rowling took 6 years to write the first Harry Potter book, so you're on track. And I was like, yeah, if I want my book to be approximately 60 pages long and I want it to have 6 chapters. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's about right, because I've finished about 30 pages. But this is a story that I keep coming back to, and so it's like I'll get inspiration, I'll be really obsessed with it and write a lot for, 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time, and I'll bust out like 10,000 words or more for like the time that I'm really inspired. And then as soon as the inspiration leaves me and I get a little bit of writer's block, I put it aside and I work on something else for a while, and then I can pick it back up almost at any point. I don't think my writing style has changed that much over the past 3 years, so it's relatively easy to get back into writing it. And the second pass that I always do when editing also helps keep that cohesion, so that's really good. And I sent it to my sister for her to read. She has not given me her comments yet, but I tried to call her to see if she had read it. She's not answered me because, of course, why would she pick up my phone calls? That would be like being a good sister. So, ooh, the call out, the tea. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm really kind of like interested to see where it goes, because I have a rough plot outline for this story that I wrote 3 years ago, maybe a little bit less than that, probably at the 2-year point, or not at the 2-year point, but like 2 years ago when I was working on it, and I had been working on it for about a year because I had a good solid like chapter and a half at that point, which, you know, isn't necessarily a lot of writing. It was like 15, 16, 17 pages maybe. But at the time, like, that's probably it is the longest story that I've ever worked on. It's like my longest work in progress. It's my baby. It's all the characters in it are my children. I created them, so therefore they are my children. And I sent a Snapchat to my sister and my cousin, who is also observing my writing progress and has been semi-involved and aware of my characters over the past 3 years. And I sent them a Snapchat of one of my characters doing something absolutely disastrous. And I said that I'm in love with my walking disaster child. And he is. He is my child. And nothing will convince me otherwise. He's my baby and I love him. But yeah, so that's really good progress on that end. To that end, I'm bringing my laptop on the plane on Sunday. And I have approximately 4 hours of travel. I'm leaving, my flight is departing at 10 a.m. on Sunday, and I get home at 2 p.m. I have an hour layover in Washington, D.C., because my disastrous last travel experience has caused my family to reevaluate our experience with a certain airline. And now we're trying a different airline that doesn't fly direct. So not at all nervous, because John Mulaney has, you know, a bit where he talks about this particular airline being notorious for, you know, bad service. You know, that doesn't scare me at all. But I think it will be a better trip than last time, because at least I'm prepared for a layover. I'm like gonna charge my phone all the way. I'm gonna make sure my laptop is fully charged before I go. I mean, not that I didn't do that last time, but it was just still kind of a little bit of a toss-up. Like, my phone was fully charged when I left the house, but by the time I got to the airport, it was like 80%, and, you know, because it took me a while to get there, and I was constantly on my phone, using up, you know, full brightness, because I recently got a new battery for my phone, so I use it to its my best advantage with full brightness, and I was streaming something, I'm sure. But so by the time, like, we landed in DC, my phone was at like 80%, and I was like, that's not necessarily good. And then by the time that I panicked and got to Reagan, my phone was at like 40%, and I was like, oh, I have to make it all the way home. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but when I came home the last time, my parents just left me a car at the airport, so I also had to drive all the way home. And I don't know the roads around the airport at home super well, because I don't drive up there that often. Whenever I go up there, it's like my parents driving me to the airport, or driving me home from the airport. So it was the first time I had done the drive by myself. So I really needed my phone. Luckily, I plugged it in, but I'm gonna be a little bit more careful with like how well things are charged. And, you know, I don't have them on me. I must have plugged. Yeah, they're plugged in. But I have Beats wireless headphones, which I use, you know, most of the time. But they deplete the battery on my phone, because they're wireless headphones. They have a battery life, and then they also drain my phone's battery, so I might, you know, use a different, you know, I have other headphones that I can use, or earbuds, and so I might use that and just be a little bit more cautious, just because I know that I have this layover. And yeah, so hopefully it's not as disastrous as my last travel experience. I have high hopes, you know? But so that was my last day of research and work, and I made good progress this summer, even if it wasn't exactly linear progress. I did end up, I don't know if I talked about this at some point, I think I got caught up in other things, but I did end up finding a little bit of an abnormality in the female organs that were mated to the mutant sperm, or the mutant males. So there were abnormalities in the way that their sperm behaved in the female organs. So that is progress, definitely worth further consideration, and I'm sure I'll look into it, you know, in the school year upcoming. So it might not have been, you know, the, like, oh, there's no sperm in the sperm storage organs at all that I was hoping, but I did, you know, find something unusual, which is more than I can say for, you know, looking in the male flies themselves, and it actually sort of adds up with other people's data that are doing, you know, different kinds of experiments with a similar gene or my gene. So it sort of matches up with that data. And so that's really good news. Not exactly, you know, going to be the headliner on NIH's website anytime soon, but, you know, it's progress. So I am happy with that. I'm very content. I'm ready to go home, and I will see you guys tomorrow when I am only 1 day away from going home, because it's T-minus 2 days until I get to go home. Are you guys sick of me saying until I get to go home yet? Because I'm kind of sick of me saying that. Pretty soon I'll be home though, and I won't have to say it anymore. So I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow after a probably good long nap. Bye guys.